So today, before I bring an image up, today I am going to talk about the Wodewose. Now, how happy was I that I wrote a script full of Wodewoses, and then I thought, oh my god, and I'd written it about 15 times, and I thought, I'm going to have to say this about 15 times. The Wodewose script for Thursday. And then I thought, oh, it's a shame I didn't write it on Wednesday, really, because then it could have been the wonderful Wednesday Wodewose writing script. I wrote reams about the Wodewose on Wednesday, and it was wonderful. Okay, so what is a Wodewose? What is a Wodewose? I'm going to tell you what a Wodewose is. In fact, I'm going to show you what a Wodewose is. So how many times have I said it now? Maybe more than 15. Here we go. Here is a Wodewose. And let's just take your lovely comments down. You might have stunned you already with my fantastic pronunciation of Wodewose. Not the woman in the pink. She's the poor, innocent person that the Wodewose is carrying off, because the Wodewose is the wild man of the woods. And yes, and this is what he was wont to do, carry off poor, innocent maidens. He was, in fact, very ill-mannered all round, all covered in hair, terribly bad manners, absolutely living apart from society, appeared quite often in manuscripts. Basically, I think, really as the antithesis of what you were supposed to be. So he was, no morals, no social mores, absolutely the antithesis of the good Christian, upstanding citizen. Yeah, I do think though in this image, so this is a 14th century manuscript. But I do think that he's kind of holding her rather lovingly, as though kind of like a guitar or something, so he's sort of playing her. She's not very happy about it, though. She's definitely not very happy because, look, this is the preceding image. So in this preceding image, she's actually not running away, but she's holding onto a tree. So and a tree, by the way, that is kind of the same size as her and considerably smaller than the Wodewose. So I think she might have done better at sort of, pegging it. But she didn't. It seems that holding onto a tree was a bit of a thing for these maidens. Here's another manuscript of around about the similar time. And there you go. Look, she's holding onto the tree as well. And he seems to be kind of rather just trying to persuade her, come on, dear, come on. Please come with me. And, and I'm thinking that she might actually be thinking about it. And the reason that I'm thinking that is because, just take a look at her hand. She's giving someone the V's up, I reckon. So I think she's like, okay, if you could just go away, whoever you are. And in fact, if you look, there's a wider portion of this. Look over to the very far left-hand side. There's someone running away. So if you can't see that, there you go. Look, someone running away. And I don't know what that big brown thing in the middle is. Maybe that's supposed to be a bird. I think actually it's not even supposed to be anything. I think it's just decoration in the manuscript. But yeah, I love that. So there he is. He's trying to grab her as she holds onto this tree. She is giving someone the two fingers as they exit stage left. That would probably be stage right, wouldn't it? Pursued not by a bear, but by a Wodewose. Or not. So, yeah. Sometimes the Wodewose might have met his match, though. I love this one. These are all, by the way, in the British Library. So here, I'm feeling quite sorry for him. I'm feeling like he was just out for a game of golf or something. I mean, look, is that not an upturned golf club that he's holding? But there's dangerous stuff around. I mean, again, he is the same size of the tree, and she is possibly even taller, which is slightly concerning, probably for him. Secondly, she is about to whack him over the head with some kind of stick, I think. So, you know, she's looking pretty fierce. She's looking like she's got him by the scruff of the neck. But if she doesn't manage to get him, look, there's a massive pair of bird talons coming down. So I think he's about to be abducted himself. You know, he's not abducting a maiden here, at least in this image. Is it a maiden or is it actually like Princess Leia? Look at the hair. But he, there's a bird that's about to grab him by the shoulders and swoop off with him, I think. So sometimes, you know, they can have a hard time, although who won out in the end? Same manuscript. There you go. He's looking very happy with himself. She's like, how did that happen? Oh my goodness, 1 minute I was about to club him over the head and he was about to be lifted away by a big bird, and now I'm in his grasp. It wasn't only women that were troublesome for the Wodewose. In the woods, there we go. This is the Wodewose being attacked by dogs. I don't know if he's being attacked by dogs, actually. He might be being attacked by dogs, or he might be playing a game of... we used to play a game called Red Rover. I don't know whether anybody else played that. Jamie might remember it. So Red Rover. So you'd have two lines of people, and you one line would shout Red Rover, send Lynne right over, and then I would have to go and run, and I don't quite know what the game was, try and break their ranks or something. I can't even remember. So I'm wondering whether they're just playing a game of Red Rover here. Or some kind of tag game, you know, like, oh, you've got fleas or something. Playing with the dogs. Is he playing with the dogs? Or is he being chased by the dogs? We will never know. This poor Wodewose. Maybe he's being equated to the dogs. Living as a non-human outside of society. Was the Wodewose human or beast? Somewhere in the middle, who falls in this strange space. But that is not to say that the Wodewose couldn't sometimes look incredibly dapper and even rather dandy. Here he is. Look at him. Hello, Mr. Wodewose. He looks like he's wearing this fantastic furry onesie, doesn't he? So this is an image with, by the way, lovely cheetah skin around him. This is a bit later, this is 16th century, and this is from a book that was all about the genealogy and the lineage of the royal houses of Spain and Portugal. Why they chose Wodewose to talk about their lineage and genealogy is anyone's guess. But he's looking, I think he's looking really quite smart. I'm particularly liking his headgear. And here he is again. Isn't that just fantastic? Hi. I think he was then getting used to it. I think, you know, so in this one, he was kind of warming up to his role. And in this one, he's really like getting playful and moving into different poses, like he's done a model photo shoot, pretending to be coy. So all sorts of uses in manuscripts. The lovely Wodewose. Sometimes they just look a little bit shit, maybe. I don't know what he's doing there. He's just crawling along the bottom of a manuscript. Heading off to the corners. I'm kind of fond of this one. Yeah, but useless. He doesn't look like he's about to carry a maiden off. He doesn't look like he's got the ability to carry a maiden off at any point, this one. But if you dressed up to be a Wodewose, let me just that's a close-up of this, and actually that's probably more useful. So this is from a 15th century manuscript by a very I was going to say very famous, it's probably not that famous, but by an illustrator called Jean Froissart, who was actually from the southern Netherlands. Fantastic. I mean, you can see how beautiful that illustration is. But this is a depiction of something that went down in the annals of French history, certainly, and actually it's a bit of a horrible story, really. So these are members of the court dressed as Wodewose, and you can see that maybe there's something going on that shouldn't be. They are in fact on fire. So the story is that in the very first part of the year, in fact the first week of 1393, nothing if not precise beyond the palate sometimes, the French court gave a big party in aid of one of the ladies in waiting, one of the Queen's ladies in waiting, who was getting married. For the third time, by the way, for the third time. And I'm hoping that her husband wasn't one of these men dressed as Wodewose. So this court was quite well known for having very extravagant, very kind of crazy fun activities, mostly because the Queen, Queen Isabel of Bavaria, wanted to keep the King, Charles VI, occupied because he was a bit loopy. Charles the, what did they call him? Something like Charles the Mad or something similar is what he became known as. And so they decided, as this lady in waiting was getting married, that they would hold a big feast with entertainment. And wouldn't it be a jolly jape if gentlemen of the court dressed up as Wodewose and danced around, probably terrifying women and, terrorizing and so on. So they did, but their costumes were dipped in something called pitch, which is highly flammable and made of flax, and so they looked like they were hairy all over their faces as well, great costumes. But because these costumes were highly flammable, everyone was warned, okay, we're not allowed to have any torches in this room at all. That's the deal. Fine. Everything starts, and then the king's brother, Louis, the Duke of Orleans, comes in late, clearly hasn't read the memo. He's also absolutely blind drunk with his entourage, and they all come in, Larry, waving their torches around. You've guessed what happens, horrible. One of the performers catches on fire, pandemonium ensues, others catch on fire. And then, in fact, it was a 14-year-old girl, a duchess, the Duchess of Berry. She realises that one of them is the king. And so she very quickly actually puts the king under her skirts and protects him. One of the other guys managed to jump in a barrel of wine and he survived. But many of the other ones, very unfortunately, didn't survive. So horrible story, and it was a real scandal at the time when the public found out. They were actually really sad but also horrified that such a kind of a frivolous, such a crazy thing had put the monarchy and therefore the stability of the country in peril, and so the entire court had to do public penance as a result. So yeah, it was quite a big thing, hitherto known as the Bal d'Ardent, or the ball of the people on fire. So yeah, that's the don't dress up as a Wodewose this Christmas when you can, but just don't go anywhere near anything flammable, or just be careful what costume you use. That's all I can say. Although I think we've all been dressing up as Wodewose for ages, haven't we? Really, the onesies. Isn't that really what it's about? Don't know. Let's just end on a nicer note, shall we? Look at this one. This is from the 19th century. So here's a Wodewose looking mightily peeved that he has had to dress up in such a completely ridiculous costume. I think he's like, man alive, I don't mind the headdress, but do I have to wear this skirt? This is just embarrassing. This is just not me at all. So on that note, I am going to stop, and I'm going to stop sharing photos, and I'm going to put some comments back on. Let's see who we've got here. Where's the comments? Oops. Oh, I've got questions. Turn off questions. Cancel questions. Okay, so turn on commenting. So something's happened. Everything's changed. Oh, hello. How nice. Changing times in there. Yeah. Anyone going to dress up as a Wodewose this Christmas? That's what I want to know. Probably not. So thank you very much for joining. Really nice to see you all. And phone died, missed the start. Adrian, you're so rubbish. How do you spell it? Where the wild things are? Wodewose, Wodewose. Adrian's currently looking like one. Nice. It's a really hard word to say, and the more you say it, the more it sounds really weird and that like you're saying it wrong. Wodewose. Anyway, it's a good word. Wodewose, and my other good word was what's the beheaded saint called? Salafafor. That was a good one. On that note, hairy people and beheaded people who carry on talking, that's a Salafafor. I am going to wriggle off, and I wish you all a lovely weekend when it happens, and happy Black Friday. Oh, I think probably everyone is buying things online rather than watching things online, which is fair enough, isn't it? And I will look forward to seeing you next week. I will post this up at some point. And yeah, happy Thursday, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.